Thank you so much, Keith, for giving me the opportunity to talk about my latest and second book. This is why you're
Yeah.
broke. This is why you're broke. It's so funny. I went to a client house to pick up some stuff, and she saw my T-shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says "This is why you broke," and she said, "Oh my God, that T-shirt! You got to tell me, like, why am I broke?" And I
Wow.
started asking her some basic money questions, and of course, just by those basic money questions I asked her, I said, we're gonna need to talk, definitely. But she said it herself. She told me she's broke, and she said, I want to read the book. I want to know. I want to know why I'm broke. This book came about, not just from a money standpoint, but it's a personal development book. My first book, If You Ain't Stacking, You're Dropping, that was all money driven. My second book around, I do have two chapters dedicated to money, but it's more so a personal development book that shows us, things that are keeping us from being rich, right? So we're broke. A lot of us are broke mentally, physically, spiritually, and of course, if we're broke in those areas, we're gonna be also broke financially. So the book is about unleashing some habits that we all have that we may or may not know of, and just how to get out of it so we can be rich physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially.
Hey, I love it. That was actually my next question. Now, I have to ask, why the topic? Why the title? What prompted you to literally put this title? Because I think it's bold. BOLD, okay? To put that out there in that manner. I had the pleasure of reading it, and I tell you, everything that you said in there is so true. 30 plus ways and reasons and understanding why you're broke. Hey, I'm not fond of the word broke. I think you know me enough to know that by now. But you know what? Tell me why it was so heartfelt for you to actually literally use those words.
It's kind of like tough love, growing up as kids. If we do something that's not right, and our parents have to discipline us, it's tough love. And I realized that um, it was a bold statement, and some people, may take it as like, I'm not broke, so why like, this is not going to be for me. Well, you may not broke financially, but you might be broken out of areas. So it's a bold statement that I have no apology. And I think, even like, once I started writing that book, it's so weird, but I started hearing like certain songs that talks about being broke. Like, Beyonce has a song where she talk about her kids will never be broke. She's gonna have unlimited, multiple generational wealth. There's so many other rappers and people who have been using that word, and trying to tell people they're either broke or they don't want to be broke in their lifetime. So I do recognize that it could be controversial, but I'm okay with that, because the people who make it big in life, we don't want to tiptoe around anything. We're gonna be bold. We're gonna speak our truth, and we know that it's gonna come with some backfire. Some people are gonna love it. Some people are gonna hate it. But hey, we're standing in our truth, and at the end of the day, it's all in love. I want my people to be rich mentally, physically, spiritually, and of course financially. So if someone says, that I'm not broke, I can guarantee you 99.9% you do have some form of broke traits, whether it might be mentally, your mindset, um, and more so within the last 2 years, doing the business that I'm in, which is financial planning. I see people who have money, but guess what? They're still broken out of areas of their life. I see people who say they want to make money, right? They want an opportunity to change their life, but yet still, when you give them that opportunity, they're broke mentally. They find all the wrong things of taking this opportunity and run with it, right? They only see the glass half empty and not half full. And so, just making sure that we're well rounded, making sure that you're not broke in any one of these areas. So for the folks who flat out told me, oh, that I'm not broke, I have money. Well, I said to them, well, okay, let's talk about XYZ, and then we see that they are broke in other areas of their life. So if we truly want to live a life of abundance, a life where, we have more than enough for ourselves, we're taking advantage of opportunities, we want to poke a hole in the sky, it's going to require more than just being rich financially. Like it starts with your mind, right? And being
Absolutely.
mindset, your mindset, your mentality, and just so many, even from a physical standpoint or a spiritual standpoint. Like I talk about in my book, a chapter where we have to make time for ourselves. Your first hour in the morning, you got to pour into yourself, get that spiritual and feeling from God or whoever you serve, your higher being, because it just sets your day. And a lot of what I talk about in my book is true experience from myself, as well as my clients and my teammates, my agents, my entrepreneurs that I work with. And the biggest thing that I see right now is people are just really broke minded. You could show them $1 million deal, you could show them $1 million opportunities, and they're gonna think twice about it, or they're gonna have to Google about it, or they're gonna read some one thing negative and think, okay, this is not for me, right? So you're getting your mind right has a big piece to do with it.
I'm glad you sum it up that way, because 100% of the time, I sometimes say, if I give you $1 million today, are you gonna go Google it to make sure that it's real money, or make sure that I'm a real person giving it away? So being broke is really about being broken. Hey guys, you have to get this book. I'm not just saying it because I put out the disclaimer of there already. I know this young lady, but that's why I dive into the topic itself, because being broke is really being broken. This is just my opinion anyway. And then when I started reading the book and realizing the different reasons that you mentioned in the book, I was blown away. So let me ask you, who influenced you to write this book, the second book?
The second book, that came first from my own personal experience, seeing the growth in me. Listen, guys, I never set out to be an entrepreneur, right? I knew that I want to be big in life. I knew that I want to help people, but I didn't know in what capacity. So by me personally seeing the influence and the change in myself, I realized there's a lot of other people who might be going through those same struggles. They want to do something. They want to be better. I remember when I first started my business many years ago, I had no support system. Like I didn't have friends around me who are business minded or who could tell me this is what you should do first, second, third, or don't do this. And my whole circle was, just the average Joe Schmo, like no business people, no. And that's a different mindset, right? So 100% is my own personal experience, seeing my journey. And because of my personal experience interacting with clients, guests, agents, my business partners, and seeing their struggle firsthand, right? Because my business is about giving people an opportunity to change their life. And I've given 400 people in the last 4 years, 400 people, total random strangers, an opportunity. And out of those 400, maybe 20 of them took it serious. 20 out of 400. So what does that say? People are really broken, right? So it first started with me seeing the change, seeing the influence, seeing my own growth, and then recognizing it in other individuals that I'm coming across conversations with. And so it's 100% experience. It's not anything that I'm reading or I fantasize or made up. This is all pure experience from myself and people like myself.
Awesome. I know you and I have had several conversations on this subject, just in general. But, maybe the next book you'll put one of my quotes in there, okay?
Okay, that'll work, because I'm already thinking about my third book, so that works.
Awesome. Hey, let me ask you, how was your first book that you mentioned, your first book? How was your first book? And I think you mentioned, you touched on it a little bit, but can you go into just a little bit more details? How was your first book? different from this book? And I've read both of them, so I have my own opinion as well. So can you share that with us, please?
Yeah, the first book was all money driven, right? It was all personal finance, savings, investment, life insurance, setting up your estate planning documents, budgeting, credit. It was all personal finance. It was all making money, growing your money, saving your money. I touched on, different income streams, different assets. It was pure finance. My second book, I only have 2 chapters that are all in on finance. 80% of this second book is all personal development. And just to piggyback or share some of the chapters, I mean, like, for example, 30 reasons why people are broke. Some people, they know that they're broke, but then I actually came up and I identify ways that you could be broke and you don't even know. So anybody that reads this book are going to be able to identify a couple of reasons why they're broke, right? And again, this is from personal experience. And because I do finance, because I engage with clients and the general public, I'm hearing their struggles and I was able to chronicle it. So I know the 30 top common reasons why people are broke. And then I talk about, a lot of us, we wait to get everything right. We want to figure out everything before we start making our life right. Well, no, that's a problem. That's a mistake. We shouldn't wait until everything lines up. The stars will never align. You just got to start where you are, right? Don't worry about how, because if your why is big enough, the how will come about. So it's purely...
Say that again.
Don't worry about the how, because if your why is big enough, the how will come about, right? So it's, so many of us, we want to wait until everything is straight. No, we don't need to wait until everything is straight. Your why is what's going to make it better.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the why. Number one, since you have the book right in front of you, what is the number one reason? And you chose the number one reason. Why did you choose number one as the number one reason out of those, I believe, 30 whys?
The number one reason why is you are broke because you have no money or lack of financial education. And I say lack of financial education because you could give somebody $1 million and they're going to be broke in 5 years. Statistics says it, not me. I have family members that came into huge lump sum of money and within less than 6 months, they went broke. No financial education.
Since you are part of that financial education and that you just mentioned, and you're very, very much into it and talk about it, give me $1 million. What would be one reason why I would lose that in 5 years? What do you think?
Well, number one, most people, if they get that $1 million, what do you think they're going to do with it? What's the first thing they're going to do with it? They're going to spend.
This is why you're broke.
They're going to spend.
Hey guys, man, let me pick on you again. Let's give me a number 5. See, I have these written down, okay? So I was ready. What's number 5 on your list?
You are broke because you value others' opinions, whom and often those people are not even better off than you. And they can't lead you to the promised land. So we're worrying about other people's opinion, and these other people are broke. The Jones are trying to keep up with the Jones, or we're trying to keep up with the Jones, and the Jones are broke themselves. So 9 out of 10 times the people that we want to impress or we're valuing their opinion, they don't have it figured out themselves.
Hey, we are going to dive a little bit more into why you're broke and why you need to get this book. This is Keith Simon. You're listening to Rudy Radio with Keith's Financial Fix and our awesome presenter and author extraordinaire, Odetta King. We'll be right back.
Awesome, guys. And we're doing a podcast.
Way over. You only have 10 minutes.